Hello, everyone. It's Phil Lee returning with another episode of Civil War Chat. Today is Wednesday, the 23rd of February, 2022. Click on the subscribe button here if you'd like to subscribe to future episodes, and also the notification bell in the far upper right to be notified when they're released. Today's topic is behind the scenes at Washington and Lee. There's an article that was written this month by a student there who's a sophomore named Kamron Spivey. And what he was doing was looking at the Liberty Hall Volunteers Memorial. Now, what's happened, as some of you are aware, is that even though the school decided to keep the Lee name in Washington and Lee, they're doing just about everything they can to strip the Lee name of all of its significance at the school. And probably, in my opinion, the objective of the current leaders is to just get the name Lee out of there. But anyway, what has happened in terms of behind the scenes and stripping the affiliations with Lee and the Confederacy, Kamron Spivey, who is a sophomore and written an article for the WNL Spectator, which is a student newspaper, on the Liberty Hall Volunteers, tells us a little bit about what's going on. The Liberty Hall Volunteers were a nickname for Company I of the 4th Virginia Infantry. It was composed of 54 students of Washington College and 18 residents of Rockbridge County, which is the county in which Lexington is located. It was formed in June of 1861, which was early in the war, and it served all the way through Appomattox. They were part of the famous Stonewall Brigade. And so they fought from the first Battle of Manassas all the way to Appomattox and everywhere in between with the Stonewall Brigade, which was part of Lee's Army of Northern Virginia. In 1910, the school put up a bronze plaque with the names of all the members of the company on it. And they put it in the vestibule of the Lee Chapel, which is a prominent location. And it's been there, it remained there for 111 years. It was taken down silently in the dark of the night by the school administration, who is, as I say, trying to strip everything related to Lee out of the chapel, and certainly anything related to the Confederacy. But its location in the vestibule of the Lee Chapel was prominent, and it was revered. So Kamron Spivey went to research, well, where did this plaque go? And what he learned was it was put in a undisclosed place where it was safe. And when he inquired about, well, what are your plans? What do you plan to do with it? Where are you going to put it up somewhere else, or what are you going to do? You got nothing. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. The kind of behind the scenes minimization of Robert E. Lee at Washington and Lee University, and actually the demonization of his students, and him as well. The thing that is interesting, though, is that here within the last week, the voters of San Francisco, which are among the most so-called progressive in the entire country, were given an opportunity to remove no more than 3 of the school board members of the San Francisco School Board. And one of there were basically 2 reasons they wanted to do it. One is that the school board has been mask mandate. They've taken it to the nth degree, and the schools have been closed for 2 years. Parents are saying it's time to get the schools open. Having them closed is creating other problems for our children, aside, from whatever problems the city is having with COVID. And the second thing is that the school wants to change the names of, well, the school board wants to change the names of some of the schools for allegedly racist historical personalities such as George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. Goodness gracious, you can imagine anything Andrew Jackson or Thomas Jefferson would also be included in that. But certainly Washington and Lincoln have been mentioned in the press as two that they wanted to change the names of. And the parents were saying that's kind of the wrong focus, you know, right now. And I think it's the same thing at Washington and Lee. I mean, get the school back, you know, get the school back to running normally, and take your focus off of condemning people that lived 150 years ago. That the administrators of the school would probably be inferior to in every way. To the people that they're demonizing. Certainly, they would be inferior in terms of courageousness. Well, that's my opinion. That's not anybody else saying that, but that's my opinion. Then there was a third thing that happened there in San Francisco that motivated the parents to vote to recall the 3 school board members, and that was that they wanted to. They concluded that the board concluded there were too many Asian Americans and whites in the school's prestigious in the district's prestigious gifted school, and that it was necessary to get rid of some of them and bring in other ethnic minorities, which would or other racial minorities and perhaps ethnic minorities. And that too was an important reason for the removal. Former mayor of New York City, Democrat Bloomberg, has just recently published an op-ed, I think it was in the Washington Post, in which he said that, you know, that what happened in that school board vote in San Francisco is a seismic 7 or 8 earthquake, wake-up call for the Democrat Party. They've gone way overboard on demonizing the people of the past, and it's becoming increasingly obvious every day that they're getting us in deeper and deeper into trouble as a country. Now, they gave us a president who created a debacle in Afghanistan, and because of his incompetence and weakness and lack of character, we now face you know, the Russian threat in the Ukraine. Speaking for myself, unless this country shuts down the illegal immigration along the Rio Grande and the southern and the Mexican border, I see no reason to be concerned about the borders in Ukraine. So, be that as it may, I'll put a link to the article that was written in the W&L Spectator for you to look at. And now what I'd like to do is to share with you my latest book. Just came out today. The Dreadful Frauds, Critical Race Theory and Identity Politics. I gave a little talk about this yesterday. What I'm concluding here is that critical race theory and identity politics, the objective is to tear down America, tear down our history so that it can be reconstructed as a new type of society, which is not a meritocracy, but is a society in which one's position is determined by quota, whether that quota based upon one's immutable characteristics such as skin color or gender. But The Dreadful Frauds is out today. You can get it at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. It's $16. If you'd like to get a autographed copy directly from me, it's $20. Just email me and I'll arrange to send it to you. But finally, let me mention, as I typically do, if you like what we're doing here, if you want to help us, you know, and I think, you know, you have helped me. You've got my subscribers of YouTube over 1,000. If you want to continue with us on that mission, then please go to Amazon and Barnes & Noble and give our books 5-star ratings if you like them. Okay, well, that's our show for today, and thank you for watching. Talk to you next time.